Well, the Democrats rolled out their biggest stars earlier in the week with Michelle and Barack Obama, who are trying to emulate parts of Obama's 2008 presidential campaign around hope, as if Kamala Harris wasn't already in office.
A familiar feeling that's been buried too deep for far too long. You know what I'm talking about. It's the contagious power of hope.
Joining us now from Los Angeles is Emily Wilson, the host of Emily Saves America. Emily, it is brilliant to speak with you. There's so much to get through, especially with what's coming out of the DNC. We've heard from the Obamas, who are, of course, brilliant speakers, but there was some real gaslighting there. I want to get your thoughts. What stood out to you?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just making content and reviewing the clip, but it's so funny. Okay, this is going to be... This is going to be an interesting statement. I don't care what the ex-president's wife has to say, who in reality has accomplished close to nothing. I know she's riding the hope train. It's just when our country is in the state that it's in and people's lives are on the line and people are dying every single day from the fentanyl coming into our country and immigration, which has criminals coming over our borders and active terrorist groups. The last thing I care about is, your husband's hope that you're pursuing, which Obama was, in my opinion, not a great president at all. Most people agree in this space with me, but it's so funny. The entire speech is complete gaslighting because they know that the crowd that they're talking to in general is very easy to manipulate. They forget the past in 2 seconds and in general are mostly very low IQ when they aren't the groups of people that are paid for. When she's talking about hope, this is the time right now where people have the least amount of hope because they're in danger and they can't afford anything because the current administration. She also goes on to talk about Donald Trump and his financial situation. Yes, of course, Donald Trump was born into some money. He also is a great businessman, which made money. He's also the only president to actually not take a salary, but to lose money. So it's funny to hear her in her, her millions and millions and millions of dollars of real estate talk about how he's corrupt, which is obviously, I wonder where all their money came from. It's just gaslighting. It works on their audience.
Absolutely. Not only did the audience forget about the past, they forget about the present. It's crazy when you hear people say, we want to vote for Kamala because we want change, as if she's not currently the vice president of the United States. I want to get into what Kamala Harris had to say in a moment, but I have to play you this clip because it's just so awkward. I couldn't look away. It's Nancy Pelosi in the crowd as Joe Biden is speaking and everyone is chanting how much they love the president. Emily, I actually feel uncomfortable for Nancy Pelosi in that moment. Of course, she was part of the coup to oust Joe Biden just a month ago, but here she is in the crowd cheering, "We love Joe Biden."
It's so funny because as a Republican, I was in New York at my girlfriend's house and we were all sitting around and we watched the debate. And afterwards, I was like, I have never in my life seen all these people who said anyone that said Joe Biden wasn't in perfect health, even though he's literally falling over and giving speeches about, things that have never happened. And one day he's Persian, the next he's Black, then, his Irish ancestry, all these things. They're the first ones to go after you if you said that his mental health was in decline at all. And then look how fast these people throw their own candidate under the bus. I mean, literally right after the debate, they all were like, yeah, no, he's not fit to serve. He's got to go. And she was one of them. But like I said, unlike our party, this party has no loyalty. I watch them every single day eat their own. And she's truly, she's one of the more evil people in politics, considering she's been doing it for clearly thousands of years.
Yeah, well said. Look, we have heard from Kamala Harris, who's yet to really detail any policies or even sit down for an interview since she became the presidential Democratic nominee, and so she'd of course have to be challenged if she was to go through an interview, something you'd kind of expect if she was going to become the president. But one of the things we heard from her was her plans to bring in price controls to combat grocery prices. Take a listen.
We believe in a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families. And when I am president, I will bring down the cost of groceries by making sure markets are competitive and fair.
Again, Emily, she's pretending she's not in office right now.
Yeah, not only does she pretend she's not in office, people forget because the past 3.5 years, she's never made a public statement. She was in charge of the border, though, which we know has been the biggest disaster in history. I think in 3.5 years, the only clip they have of her is talking about school buses. It was quick. It's funny because they were quick to, erase that she was the border czar, but she was. And the border's never been worse. We have open borders. I mean, everything with her is it's scary that I feel like we're living an episode of South Park. You go on her social media. She has 80 different pronouns and 0 policies. The only policy she does have was the one she stole from Trump, which of course the media, when Trump does it, it's bad. When she does it, it's good. It's so funny when people will defend her no matter what. They're like, so if you can do all these things, why have you not done them in the past 3.5 years? But then these same people, when you talk about JD Vance and how much emphasis they put on him, who's actually fantastic and does do interviews and isn't scared of the media, which is crazy. Think about being scared of the media when every single media outlet is on your side.
Yeah.
Elon Musk invited her to do an interview. She said no. Trump did 2.5 hours and was perfectly fine. She won't even do a scripted media outlet with her own people. Because she has no policies. She's a professional liar and she can't even do that well. Imagine this woman having the nuclear codes. Genuinely, how scary that is for the rest of the world, not our country.
Absolutely. And if you go on her campaign website, you can donate, you can buy merchandise, you can sign up to be informed, but there's not one policy that's outlined. Now, at the DNC, California Governor Gavin Newsom has defended Kamala Harris for her lack of policies.
We've not heard a ton of specifics from Democrats about Vice President Harris's evolution on the issues over time. Isn't that a problem?
Are you shocked that in a convention you're not hearing a lot of specifics?
It's been a month since she took over.
Come on, she'll have plenty of time to sort of map out more nuance.
It's interesting, the host of the Benny Johnson show asked Kamala Harris supporters at the DNC convention in Chicago why they're supporting her. Many of them struggled to actually answer.
Trump or Kamala? What do you think? Trump or Kamala Harris?
Oh, God, it's Kamala, definitely.
Yes?
1,000%.
Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your favorite thing Kamala's done in the last 4 years?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Actually, don't use this.
Oh, Kamala.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah, Kamala.
Kamala, why?
Well, she's honestly, I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not super knowledgeable, so I can't really speak too much on it.
Because Trump sucks.
Yeah, pretty much same thing.
It says so much, doesn't it? So many people are just getting swept up in the hype, the campaign, and the BS. They don't even know why they like her.
Well, it's funny because if you have no policies, then how could you say you possibly support her? If you go online, here's the thing. No one likes Kamala. No one liked Joe Biden. They simply hate Trump. The difference is you could ask the dumbest Trump supporters on the street, and they would probably at least give you 1 to 5 policies or things he's done that they like, at least a direction he's going. These are truly the most low IQ voters. They are only voting for her because she's not Trump. And the sad thing is with the interviews, you're basically admitting that. And let's be real, the country, and they managed to destroy the country in 3.5 years. So I'm not sure what policy she's great. When she's talking about the price gouging and all these things, she literally is talking about communism. They're telling you to your face. She's not even able to do these things, but that is the direction they want to go. These people are socialists and they love communism.
Yeah. A recent CBS News poll shows that Kamala Harris is leading Donald Trump by 12 points among female voters, 56 to 44, compared to Joe Biden's 6-point lead in July at 49% to 43%. Emily, why are women flocking to support Kamala Harris? Is it because she is a woman, because she hasn't done any interviews, so she can't actually reveal what she's like? Or is it because she's a Democrat and we're edging closer to polling day?
Well, when you look at polls, you see that the group that votes the most left and is usually the most mentally ill and uninformed is single liberal women in America. So of course they're all voting for her because they've been brainwashed and fed Trump is bad and he's taking away women's rights, which is crazy. Trump has said he's not doing a nationwide abortion ban. He wants to protect IVF. He also wants to protect women from dangerous people coming into our country. And he also wants to keep men out of women's sports. But it's they're so brainwashed, they completely ignore all of that. And they're like, she's a woman. And I'm like, you know what? If you want a woman to be president, personally, I don't care. I don't think that's the most fitting role for a woman, but if that's what you want, how about an intelligent woman? If she's the president, she would put women back 50 plus years at least. I mean, it's embarrassing. She truly is an embarrassment. I don't trust the polls in general, but I do know that is why women are voting for her.
It's embarrassing, and it's embarrassing to watch all the women getting swept up in it just because she's a woman. Maybe we could look at her policies. Oh, there aren't any available. Look, it looks like RFK Jr. will be dropping out of the race and will be throwing his support behind Donald Trump. This is what his running mate, Nicole Shanahan, had to say.
There's two options that we're looking at, and one is staying in, forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Waltz presidency because we draw votes from Trump, or we draw somehow more votes from Trump, or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump.
And Donald Trump says he's open to it.
Can I ask you about RFK? Because just moments ago, his running mate said that they were considering endorsing you. Have you considered him for a role in the administration, and what role would that be?
Well, we haven't, but I would love that endorsement because I've always liked him.
Would you also consider putting him in the administration?
You're asking me a very unusual question. I haven't been asked that question yet. I like him a lot. I respect him a lot. I probably would if something like that would happen. He's a very different kind of a guy, a very smart guy. And yeah, I would be honored by that endorsement, certainly.
Emily, I want to get your thoughts on what this will do to Trump's chances, I guess, but also what it says about the Democrats.
Yeah, well, what it says about the Democrats is even traditionally libertarian people, and I consider myself middle on most subjects, have strayed from this party because this party is insane. This went from the party that was anti-war. This administration has brought us into multiple wars, which we all believe under Trump would have never happened, which is ironic because these people still are protesting the wars, yet they want to go with the candidates who brought us into war. That would have never happened under Trump. And it's so crazy because he even says this party is unrecognizable. I mean, this party is at the feet of the government. They want government to control our bodies, control our lives, all these things. He's like, and truly, it's not the party of love and tolerance. It's the party of anti-free speech. No, you don't get to choose what you do with your body and medical freedom. And it's unrecognizable anymore. And this is like, honestly, the party of communism now. So of course, the only thing that would make sense is for him to go and support Trump. And I will say, as a very pro-Trump person, we love everyone that's with RFK. We want the same things. We don't want forced vaccines and masks and lockdowns, and we want to have food and water that isn't poison, and we want medical freedom, and we don't want people's licenses being stripped away for free speech, which comes out, 6 months later, they were right. So I believe if we join forces, it's the best thing we can do. I have nothing but love and respect for him and his followers, and we welcome them with open arms.
Emily Wilson, host of Emily Saves America. Thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour. Great to speak with you.
Thank you so much. God bless.